Hello players, it's Twice here again with yet another clan overview. So today we're going to be looking at the Dark Zone. We've gone over the United Sanctuary and the Dragon Empire already, and those videos were a little bit longer because obviously those are the nations that have the most clans. United Sanctuary rather has 6 and Dragon Empire has 5, but the rest of them have only 3, so these videos should be a little bit shorter. So the Dark Zone is kind of an interesting nation. It has 3 clans: Dark Regulars, Spike Brothers, and Pale Moon. And I'll just be going over them in pretty much that order. And Dark Zone is kind of a strange place. Just the artwork of the cards kind of shows that it's very weird. It's the Dark Zone. It's like, demons and succubi and all kinds of weird and crazy things. But the first clan that we're going to go over is the Dark Regulars. Really the one that kind of, shows off the style of the Dark Zone the best. So the Dark Regulars were introduced in Set 1, and their strategy is very simple. Get things in the soul. Like, that's what they do. A lot of Dark Regulars cards get power just by having a large soul. That's pretty much how that works. So I guess the first real, Dark Regular boss card was Demon World Marquis Amon. He came out in Set 3, and his ability will just go to show you what their strategy is. So it is, during your turn, he gets 1,000 power for each Dark Regular in your soul. So obviously the more cards you have, the more power he gets during your turn. You get 10 cards in your soul, he's got an extra 10,000 power during each of your turns. Like, that's a lot. And then with a booster, you can turn that into some very strong columns very fast. And his secondary ability is Counterblast 1 and choose one of your Dark Regular rear guards and put it into your soul. So then again, he's building up your soul, even though he's only using, still using one Counterblast. And then your opponent chooses one of his or her rear guards and retires it. So Dark Regulars are a very aggressive clan. They can build up some very scary columns with their abilities, as well as just put immense pressure on your opponent. In fact, Amon has a reverse form. It's Cross Ride. Came out in Set 12. Limit Break is choose one of your Dark Regular rear guards and lock it, and he gets 1,000 power for each Dark Regular in your soul until end of turn, so just like his previous form. And if the number of Dark Regulars in your soul is 6 or more, which is very easy to get up, 6 cards at least into the soul, he gets an extra critical. And then, of course, he's a Cross Ride, so he'll have a 13k base. So, again, that just goes to show kind of what the strategy of the Dark Regulars is. All about just getting cards into the soul, putting immense pressure on your opponent. Still, I say that King of Mass Dantarian, their Break Ride, also emphasizes this. Dantarian's ability is when Dark Regular rides him, it gets 10,000 power, and you choose up to 3 of your rear guards, and then they gain what's called the Amon skill, which is, during your turn, those 3 rear guards will have 1,000 power for each Dark Regular in your soul. So if you have 10 cards in your soul, 3 of your units, as well as your Vanguard, are going to get an extra 10,000 power. And for each card you put in the soul, they're going to get an additional 1,000 power. So there you go. That's the strategy of the Dark Regulars. A lot of power, and it's fun to just soul charge and just see how many cards you can get into the soul. That's just how Dark Regulars work. A lot of power, a lot of pressure. Very easy to deck out, but it's still a really fun deck. Then we're going to go over Pale Moon, which is actually the clan that I use. Pale Moon was introduced in Set 3, while Spike Brothers and Dark Regulars were introduced in Set 1. Pale Moon is a little bit different, still focuses on the soul, but the idea is to call units from the soul to the rear guard, and to kind of just get combos off with that, rather than just building up the soul to a certain level. And again, you can find just all of this information on the wiki at the top of the Pale Moon page. It tells you their whole strategy. I'm just going to show you some of their cards to help you understand their abilities. So the Amon, House of Amon, I think it's called, is the main archetype for the Dark Regulars. But for the Pale Moons, their main one is really Silverthorn's Beast Tamer, kind of, but that's only because of one card. But Silverthorn and cards like it. So the idea is to, again, just get cards into the soul and then call those out later. One of their most iconic cards, let me go ahead and find her, is Silverthorn Dragon Tamer Lucia. Came out in Set 7. And her limit break is Counterblast 3, choose up to 1 Grade 0, Grade 1, Grade 2, and Grade 3 Pale Moon from your soul, call them to separate rear guard. And she gets 3,000 power for each unit retired, that's her secondary, or for each unit called, rather. That's her secondary ability. So again, that's kind of just what they do. They get power from calling units. They get a lot of combos off from switching them. Really, the highest form of Lucia is probably going to be her Cross Ride, Silverthorn Dragon Empress Venus Lucia. Limit Break is Counterblast 2 cards with Silverthorn in its name, so there again is their subclan. Soul Charge 2, and then you choose up to 5 Palemoon from your soul whose total grade is 6 or less, and call them to separate rearguard. And it can only be used once per turn, and of course she's a cross ride, so she gets that extra 2,000 power. Again, just a lot of combos you can get off. There are cards that when you call them, you can choose one rearguard, put it back into the soul, and call a new one. And there are cards that for each unit called out, it gets power, like Lukier. There are cards that when units are called, you get off certain other abilities. So just a very combo-based deck, some very interesting aesthetics. It's based around a circus. One great nickname for this I once heard is the Psycho Circus because of its ridiculous combos, its amazing aesthetics. As you can see, we got lions, we got beast tamers, and elves, and this list of races alone will show you just how weirdly, designed the Palemoon clan is. But now I'm going to go on to Spike Brothers. Spike Brothers are a very aggressive clan, probably one of the most in the entire game. They're designed around American football, actually, which is kind of interesting. That's their little symbol that really all clans have. But only one person uses in the anime, Kyoyahagi, so it doesn't really see a lot of support. But I mean, it has one of the best Break Ride, Limit Break combos in the game. Its main subclan is the Dudleys, and it got support in set 16, so we already have seen its Legion. But let me show you its Break Ride first, so you can understand really what I'm talking about. And that is Bad End Dragger. So Bad End Dragger's ability is Break Ride. Vanguard gets 10,000, and your Vanguard gains an ability of when one of your Spike Brother rearguards attacks, it gets 10,000 power, and at the end of that battle, it goes to the bottom of the deck. That's kind of the Spike Brother strategy. It's a blitz, like in football. Just rush the opponent, break through their defenses, and then go back to the deck. That's really just how a lot of them work, is just rush, go back to the deck. Rush, go back to the deck. It's very repetitive, but very strong. That's just one example of how when that rearguard will attack, it gets an extra 10k plus its boost, then it goes back to the deck. And then, if you can combine it with Demonic Lord Dudley Emperor, one of their other main boss cards, his Limit Break is Counterblast 2 and choose 2 Spike Brothers from your hand and put them into your soul. When he attacks a Vanguard, you can pay the cost. If you do, search your deck for up to 2 Spike Brothers, call them to separate rearguard, and shuffle your deck. So in combo with the Break Ride, you attack with your front row first, they go back to the deck, and they got the 10,000 power from attacking. Then you attack with this card, and because of his Limit Break, you'll get 2 new units to the front row, which means that after he's done attacking, those units will also get to attack for an extra 10,000 power, and then go back to the deck. So that's kind of how Spike Brothers is meant to work. Just a very aggressive clan. Probably their most used card is actually the first real leader of their support, which is Juggernaut Maximum. Ability is that when he's on rearguard, you can Soul Blast 1, and when he attacks, he gets an extra 5,000 power. So again, lots of combos, lots of power in their attacks. Some very weird artwork, because you see these ogres and these demons dressed in football gear. It's just really strange, and they have really weird names like Jelly Beans, Skydiver, Rabbit House. There's one called where is she? I think she's a grade 1. It's a Red Shoe Millie, which is just and they have them Reckless Express. So just some weird names, but it's a very interesting clan. Lots of power, lots of comboing ability. Unfortunately, they don't usually get all that much support, but still can be very strong. So Dark Regulars get things into the soul to get power. Palemoon, call units from the soul and get off combos, get off more attacks. That's really the focus. Spike Brothers get a lot of power from a lot of different attacks and then go back to the deck. So that's kind of Dark Zone. Again, just a very dark aesthetic to them. The name says it all. And yeah, very, very interesting nation we got here. So thanks again, guys, for watching. This has been our next nation analysis. Next time we're going to go over Megalonica, Zoo, and then finally Stargate. So I hope you guys always have a great day. Remember to keep card fighting. Thank you for all your support, and goodbye.